What's up, y'all? Y'all all right? Good. If not, let's get better. This is your man, Jazz Man, and I am here with another episode of the New Legacy Podcast Show here at the Black Heritage Library in Multicultural City. Today is a special edition. I have a special guest. Oh, this young brother, he touched my heart with his poetry, his words, and his energy. So today we got Brother Jeremiah Jackson from the University of Finley. We're gonna delve in and get to know this brother just a little bit more. What's up, man?
How you doing? I appreciate you having me on. I always find, I interview a lot of people. So when you're being on the podcast as a guest, it's like, I finally get to talk about myself. So, but appreciate it, man. Appreciate it.
No doubt, man. Anytime. So Jeremiah, tell us a little bit about yourself. Let people know who you are, what you're about, where you're from, who your mom and them is.
But yeah, my name is Jeremiah Jackson. As Jasmine said, I'm a student at the University of Finley, getting my master's right now, professional communication. Graduating in December. Graduated my undergrad in the spring of 2023. Went to Finley in 2018 as a football player. Played 6 years until 2023. Played cornerback and safety. I'm a spoken word artist. I'm a public speaker as well. And I don't know if you guys are familiar with Japanese anime, but I love Japanese anime. I'm a content creator as well, and that was my introduction into content creation. And so yeah, a little bit about myself.
Y'all hear all that? Did y'all catch all that? That's power. That's value right there. That's increasing your value. And today we're going to talk about that, increasing the value. But let's dive into some things that really, is going on today. The other day he made a comment, a couple last week, he made a comment about the Indiana Pacers. And look what he's wearing today. Look what he's wearing today. He's going to wear the Cavs after he does, So tell me, man, how you feeling about the new, I guess you could say, we're going to be crowning a new champion in the NBA, man.
Well, I mean, we have to crown a new champion. Not saying it's going to be Indiana Pacers. and I'm not a Cavs fan. I'm a LeBron fan. So this is LeBron 23.
Okay, all right.
But I think something that's spectacular about the NBA is that we're seeing a shift right now. Oh, yeah. We're seeing these up and coming superstars, Shea and Tyrese Halliburton, and they're showing out right now.
Exactly.
And honestly, I did not think the Pacers were going to get past the Knicks. And what they did in Game 1 against the Thunder blew me away. Blew me away.
That was the same thing I seen in that Game 1 with them and Cavs. So mm-hmm. I expected that, but that was one of them fans like, oh no, good job Indiana Pacers and also OKC. Yeah. So who you see coming out, man? Who's coming out on top? Who's going for?
Indiana, who I'm rooting for. I'm shifting towards Indiana, but I have my own personal reasons. But I think the Thunder is a better team. But obviously, Shea's the MVP. I feel like he's the best player in this series. But I would say this: I don't like how Shea. I don't like how he draws fouls. Him and Jalen Brunson, I can't.
They gotta get up in that. They got to get that middle. That's the to me. When you're good at basketball, those are the elements you have to draw that foul in. Yeah. And the coach, I've seen Atkinson do it a lot with the Cavs, where now, if they're running that fast-paced ball,
yeah.
Now I got to find a way to either take advantage of that speed that they use, use that speed against them,
yeah,
or to slow that team down.
Yeah.
And it's part of the game,
Unfortunately, it's part of the game because I feel like. I have a LeBron jersey on. LeBron, he does all the flopping.
He does the flopping.
He took what D-Wade used to do and then turned it into something else. And now Shea and Jalen Brunson, they taking it to a whole nother level.
It's the same. Listen, it's the evolution of basketball.
Yeah.
The same way when you see Dr. J and then back in the day, and how now Jordan revolution. Now you have the Kobe revolution. It's that time for evolution, and I see maybe 7 to 8 different players throughout the league who now since 2018 and I'll say 19 have now taken that those steps to be great players.
Yeah.
You got in Boston, you got Brunson and what's his
Tatum.
Awesome player.
Yeah.
Who else? You know, I think the list can go on.
Yeah, the list can go on.
But you know, like I said, I want to see the best team win. I'm definitely an Eastern, conference. I love the Eastern Conference. Love to see Indiana take one finally. You know, all the years I watched Reggie Miller get beat up by George Mill. It'd be nice to finally see them take one.
Yeah.
So football, man, come on, football season getting ready. You see, it was a football play. You see, you play tight end or whatever.
Cornerback, yeah.
Quarterback, yeah, okay. I played a little cornerback in my high school days, you know. So, I mean, how was the plan? Now, you come from a diverse upbringing?
Yes.
Okay, so playing for Finley how was that? How was that experience?
It was definitely an experience, I would say. Throughout high school, I played receiver, mainly receiver, so on the offensive side, and I went to all these football camps for receiver. And it wasn't until my last year where schools were starting to say, okay, you have the size for a receiver, but you don't look like the receivers that are being produced now. You know, I'm about 6'1", 200. The receivers like 6'3",
right,
210, 215, running like 4.3s, and I wasn't that guy. So it was like, let's try you out on the defensive side. So I went to a couple of camps for cornerback, but I love playing receiver. And then Finley came in the picture, and they were like, you know what, you're a really good player. I'm like, okay, cool. School, they want me to play receiver. I can play receiver in college. They said, no, I want to play you on defense. And I was like, I don't want to play on defense. I was like, I don't want to play on defense, but eventually, it was the best thing for me. And when I first came here to Finley, it was a shock at first. Playing college football versus high school football, it's a different level.
What was the difference to you? What took you by surprise there?
It's a different level of intensity on the college level, I would say. I remember my first practice. There was a guy. I remember my first practice, actually. Funny story, I ended up getting hurt, like my first practice. But we had these NFL guys on our team who ended up getting drafted. One was named Jason Moore, ended up playing for the Chargers for a little bit, and for the Lions. Had another guy named Drew Overtree. Right now he plays for the Indianapolis Colts. And I had to guard these guys. My first year. I remember one time in summer workouts, I guarded both of them the same day. Went on a route, broke me off so easily, caught the pass, he just ran up the sideline. I'm like, dang. Like, this how
I wanted to make sure your ankles wasn't. I want to make sure you were still high. I didn't need medical attention or nothing like that.
That was like 5 years ago. But they should be good by now. I remember also Drew. I was guarding him, and he was about 6'6". They just threw it up to him on a fade route. I thought I had perfect defense. Oh, one hand over top of me on my head, and just running down the sideline, another touchdown. I'm like, hey. This is what college is about.
Your weakness.
I'm 18 years old at the time. I'm like, dang, like this is how it is. But honestly, it was because I wasn't really mentally ready for college, but physically I was able to play at that level. I feel like, but I just wasn't ready mentally, and it was a journey through that first semester. Trying to work my way on the team, trying to battle for a spot. A lot of mistakes was made, but I learned a lot of lessons. One lesson my coach always told me is, even if you make a mistake, go 100%.
Let me ask you this one question. I see, as a football player myself, is this rule true? That defense wins championships?
Most definitely.
Most definitely. But if I add a piece to it, how would it sound? Okay. Defense wins championships, but the offense got to score one more point.
Yes. My defensive coordinator, coach, Tom Rebels, he will always say, if our offense scores 10 points, we should win a game. If they score 10 points, we should win a game. He said, if we give up 17 points, we're going to lose the game.
So, defense is got to be on point. But if we can, only game I would love to leave and have a draw on is chess. I'll leave with a draw on chess. Yeah. But on football, on basketball, I got to make sure that offense it's got that one last drive, that
Yeah.
one last play.
Yeah.
Now, if the offense is up, I need the defense to win that champion. That's cool.
Mhm.
But if I got to make sure that the offense is that last chance, what do I do? And that's what the topic of our conversation is going to get into. How we, how did we defend all that stuff that was thrown at us and use our offense to come back, be on top to win the ship.
Definitely.
Okay.
Definitely.
All right. So, also, before we move forward, coming up on June 21st, Saturday, June 21st, it's going to be our Juneteenth Freedom Day celebration, which will be held here at the Black Heritage Library and Multicultural Center. Currently, unfortunately, my brother couldn't perform, but he did send some people in his film and in his place. So we have Devin Stover will be doing spoken word. We have a young brother named Blake doing spoken word. Walter doing spoken word. We have some hip hop artists and producers of entertainment. We have Juan Marley, as well as the Mason Chapel Praise Dancers, Alex Davis. Oh man, the list goes. We only have a whole day of entertainment. We also have food trucks. Cutie's gonna be serving Jamaican food. We got some soul food. We got pickled corn dog. We also have the balloons and face paint for the children with the bounce house. Come on out and enjoy from 2 p.m. to 7 p.m. 817 Harmon Street, right here in Philly, Ohio. Any announcement you want to make? Anything you got coming up? Any surprises you got? Everybody can check out what you got going on.
Nothing coming up. Nothing coming up as of yet this summer. I would say just continue to work on some projects myself, with some poetry. Like I said before the cameras rolled, working towards this 5K. Funny story. My aunt told me. She said she actually was like, "Why are you training for a 5K? Just go ahead and run it." But
No, you just don't know.
Yeah, you just don't know.
They don't know. See, I mean, I may be a skinny, but running track and staying in shape, though, that makes your lungs is together.
Yeah.
Your muscles, it's all about the hamstring, the groin. Those things tighten up after a while. Like the foot muscle. you ever have your big toe like this? It takes a lot of training. What do you do to get in shape? I mean, what are some of your techniques that you use to get in training and ready for it?
So I was never a runner. I mean, I ran track growing up, obviously, but I was just a sprinter, so I never really ran distance. And being a football player for kind of all my life, football, you run and you stop, and it's rare that you run full speed as a football player. It's so you run and you stop, you run and you stop, you run and you stop, so you're never like going. So now I am just building myself up very slowly. I started off like doing 1 mile, every other day for the month of April and May, and a little bit of May. And right now, I'm just working on that 2 mile, trying to get my 2 miles to 16 minutes. Right now, I'm at 19. When I first started, I was at 23, so I'm at 19 minutes right now. And then I'm not gonna go 3 miles.
I ain't training with him. I just did my mile out of 20.
But it's a journey. It's a journey,
right.
though. So I finally got my 2 mile down to 19 minutes, about 31 seconds. And then in the month of July, I'm not going to do 3 miles. I'm going to jump to 4.5 miles. And I'm going to try to get that down. I don't know the numbers just yet. But I don't want to do the 5K. I want to do more than the 5K. So I'm going to, when I train, obviously. So I'm going to skip the 3 miles and I'm going to jump to 4.5. And then if I get that down to a time that I feel like, okay, my 5K is going to be reasonable, then I'm going to go with that.
So can I ask this question, man? Because it seemed as if, are you looking to be a coach or something, coach or a sports mentor in the future?
I'm always looking to be a sports mentor. Coach, I don't know what God has for me, but I don't know.
I see it because I see it because I really do. I can see it on you because just you motivating me sitting here. And like I said, I played sports for many years, and my father coached football, basketball. So I can see those skills come out. It's just but that's something you can look into. But I definitely can see you being that mentor. So let's get into the meat and potatoes.
Mhm.
As we go through life, we all have a story to tell. We all go through some ups and downs, changes and turns. But it's all about the way you end up going through it and coming out on the end. So this brother today is going to share some of his stories of how he gone through some of the things he went through in the past, work in the present, and now he's building for the future. So brother Jeremiah, tell us about your upbringing and how how that played a role in you becoming who you are.
I'm from Columbus. I was born in Miami, so I flip depending on the context. Be like, oh, yo, where are you from? Depends what I'm talking about. If I'm talking about sports related things, I'm from Miami.
Oh, because that's because LeBron.
No, Miami.
But yeah, but it just sounds much cooler to say I'm from Miami.
Funny. So me and my dad are from Miami. My mom and my two brothers are from Ohio. So when I was being recruited in high school, and schools would be like, yo, where are you from? I wouldn't say Columbus. I would say I'm from Miami. Because that just gives a little extra, athletes.
What? You're from Miami?
No, but athletes in Miami just a little bit different than Ohio, I would say. But no shade towards Ohio. I'm from Ohio as well. But
okay.
But grew up in Columbus, Ohio. Have two brothers. I'm 27. My older brother, I'm 25. Just turned 25 last week. And my little brother is 9 years old.
Oh, he's a middle child.
Middle child.
So it's something special about the middle kid. It's something special. It's definitely something special about the middle kids.
We're definitely rebellious.
Yes, but hold on. But well loved. I don't know what it is. That's the favorite child. I don't know about the middle child. It usually is. But those are usually some special, children in the family.
Okay.
And it's scientifically proven. I'm a middle child, but think about it. The first child is usually practice. Parents are just not. There's no manual with when it comes to parenting. That middle child, that's the one that is more like them, look more like them, just got the mannerisms like them, and they put it up. And it's usually a light that other people can see that they may not be able to see.
Yeah.
And you may not get into older.
Oh,
yeah. How you doing? Well, hold in the camera, man. How you doing, Pops?
You're in front of the camera.
You're in the camera, man.
On camera. I didn't realize that. I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
Don't be sorry. Just be careful.
Tell your friend there, you're missing one thing.
What's that is?
Motown. Have no Motown.
You know what?
I grew up then. Yeah, that was my era. I knew all those guys. And we had a band in high school. We played the backup music for the Motown artists that come into the nightclub that was in town. Good guys personally. A lot of them.
What is it? Oh, man.
Amazing.
Barry Gordy and all of them.
Amazing. Filming this.
Yeah, we're doing a show.
Podcast.
We're on the show, yeah.
Let me get out of the way, man. I didn't realize that.
Special guest.
This is part of the multicultural and the Black Heritage and Multicultural Center. Anyway.
That was funny. I thought he knew. I thought he looked at the phone because he was over there.
He was over there.
That's why he swung
Right
around
up
this
his
way.
mic.
But he came back. I guess he just didn't know. That's okay.
He want a little piece of the pie too. I see you on Philly neighbors helping neighbors. I want a little piece of that. but lost the train of thought. You still on your train, man?
What's the middle child?
Hold on. 1 second.
Oh, that's perfect.
Yeah, we were sitting here laughing. We just had to a special guest run through. Had to run and change the mic, but everything worked out. So we're gonna go back to the beginning. So that's what I'm saying. We all have a story to tell, and sometimes, like I said, we go through those ups and downs, changing and turn around. And so now we're gonna talk to this brother about what got him through, some of the things he went through in the past to, getting to the present, working for the future. Now we're talking about the brother and sister. You had a brother, you're the middle child. We're talking about the middle child.
Yep.
So it's a special light that shines on those little child, and sometimes people see that light before before they even see it.
Mhm.
Did you experience that? Like people telling you or seeing something in you and saying that you're going to be, or this motivated you more, or was your mother harder on you than you thought, or your brothers or sister, or your father hard? How did you find that?
It really didn't hit me till I was in high school. I had, but it was all through athletics. I had a couple of my teammates. I was a freshman, and I was about the only freshman that played varsity. And a lot of my teammates' parents would come to me and said, "Oh, we see something really special in you. Keep doing what you're doing." But my mom told me this when she was pregnant. Her and my father was at a movies, and as she got up, no, they were watching a movie, and someone came to them and said, "Your child is going to be special."
Mm.
And this was when I was in her womb,
Mm.
and she turned around and tried to see like who said that, tried to see their face, but then nobody was there. They were gone, and that's always stuck with me. Those words that she told me.
So let me ask you a question. Do you know the meaning of your name?
Jeremiah.
Yeah.
My grandma gave it to me.
What's the meaning, man? Because I'm one of them studiers of spirituality,
Mhm.
and it just touches me to now hear that story and now match it up with the name.
Mhm.
Go ahead. What's the meaning of the name?
So Jeremiah is biblical. When I tell people my name all the time, they say, "Oh, that's a fantastic name." I'm like, "Yes, it's biblical." I tell everybody my grandma, my late grandma gave me that name, and something special about the name Jeremiah. My favorite scripture, my favorite verse is from the book of Jeremiah. Jeremiah 29:11. I actually have it on a shirt. I have Child of God on the front. I have Child of God on the front right here, like it's a team logo, and then I got Jeremiah, my name on the back, like on the name part, and then I got 29:11 on the number part. And it's fantastic. And I remember wearing that shirt, and my little brother, he was like, Jeremiah 29. He said, "What is this shirt?" I said, Dallas. That's my little brother. He's like, "That's my favorite Bible scripture." He said, "You don't even know the scripture." I'm like, "Are you testing me right now?"
I'm wearing a scripture. You don't think I know it?
I've been a little brother before. I'm still a little brother.
Your brother, right?
I was the youngest brother for 16 years, so I know. But Jeremiah 29:11, for I know the plans I have for you, plans to prosper and not harm you, plans to give you hope in the future. That verse sticks out to me because that is the story of my life from high school up until now.
Mm.
So that verse really sticks with me, and through me working throughout the week, I rehearse that scripture in my head probably 50 times a day because that's my favorite verse. It just sticks with me.
Wow. Like I can't make this. I tell you, I can't make this up. As y'all seeing this journey, it's everything is about a spiritual connection, and having to understand what my name, because Jazz Man ain't just no name. You just it just pops up, in the way it's spelled, JASSMAN.
Mm-hmm.
And then the Jeremiah, who still ain't telling the meaning. What's the meaning of the name, man?
Well, that's
your meaning.
That's my meaning.
Okay, well, I'm gonna make sure we want to make sure we get the meaning of that.
Yeah.
Because it's because God, when He named people in the Bible like Obadiah, Jeremiah, Israel, those names meant something. It tells a story, And so, before we leave here today, you gonna make sure you get your. I mean, I off the top of my head, somebody can like Hezekiah. I mean, Hezekiah. I mean, God hears me. I'm gonna make sure you get that. All right. So now going through now, so we know that special moment. That story was told to you. When did you realize? Like I said, we rebelled against those sometimes.
Yeah.
When people, when we know we got something special, you're like, you know what? Either I don't believe it, I don't want to receive it, or I don't want to accept it at that moment.
Yeah.
But how did you rebel against it? How did you kind of like, you know what? This ain't who I want to be.
Mm-hmm.
or I know who I'm supposed to be,
Yeah.
but this ain't who I want to be. What did you go? What was that time like?
I remember when, we talked about football earlier, and for me, it all started with football. So I went to Finley for football. I really didn't know what I wanted to do when I first got to school. Was a business major. Both of my parents and my older brother graduated with business in college, so I figured, oh no, if they did it, I'm just gonna do it too. I don't know my lane yet, but I'm just gonna follow them. I don't know my own path yet. So 2018, my freshman year, I was playing football. I told you I got hurt, and that was my first awakening moment about college football, how it's more of a business as well. And that's the start of where my love for football started to diminish. And then I remember my second year, had my best off season, and the season started, and I started my first game. I gave up a touchdown my first play of college football.
So they played with your self confidence.
It killed my self confidence because I got pulled from that game. I played special teams, and I remember it was at Fair State, and I remember my parents were there, and I remember just hugging my parents, and I was crying, and then my dad said, "This will only make you better." I remember I got on the bus thinking about that. He said, "This will only make you better," and then. The rest of the season was up and down. Ended up switching my position to corner at some point. But I ended up getting hurt in practice, and that ended my season right there.
Wow.
And dealing with that injury, it was a high ankle sprain. I tried to come back at some point throughout the season, but then I ended up just making it worse. So then I'm on a sprained ankle, and then going into the off season, it was still hurt. But at this point, I feel like the expectations of me were so high because I was a scholarship player. So I rushed myself back for off season. And then through the workouts, I made it even worse. But I'm shielding it. I'm still doing my rehab, but it's never getting 100%. And then we had this spring camp day where he's doing 40-yard dashes, shuttles, and all that. And I had some of the highest numbers there, all on her ankle. I'm probably 70% at this time. And I know I'm supremely talented, but I can't perform to the best of my ability. I mean, we had spring break, and I remember I was going through spring break doing workouts. I was like, there's no way I can go through spring practice. There is no way my ankle could be able to cut or anything. And then COVID happened. Then COVID happened. Everything shut down. They said everybody got to go home. Got to leave campus. All that. I'm like, okay, God, I don't know. This is what I don't know. I don't know what it is, but I think this is the best solution for me because my grades were kind of slipping at the time too, and COVID allowed me to get back with academic standing and all that. But I remember through COVID, I was trying to work out with one of my teammates back in Columbus, and my ankle was still hurting 2 months later, and I'm like, dang, what am I doing? What am I doing wrong? And at the time, we couldn't get no physical therapy because everything was closed. And then I remember the season was coming around. And I was like, I'm physically not healthy enough for the season to start. And then they canceled the football season.
Oh, wow. Favor.
They canceled the football season. And I'm saying to myself, and through COVID, a lot of idle time, because everybody had a lot of time on their hands, being in the house. I was still working throughout the summer that year. And I was thinking to myself, okay, football is being temporarily taken from me at this point in time. And I've made this my life. Ironically, it's kind of became my God in a way as well. And you cannot serve two masters. You cannot serve two masters. So God, I believe, took something away from me that I felt like I served. And at that time, I didn't know I had any other gifts. So then I started to tap into some different things because I'm not going to lie, I wanted to quit football at the time because I felt like it was just bringing me so much harm. So then I wanted to tap into poetry. I wanted to tap into content creation. All stems from my love for Japanese anime. I don't know if you have any Japanese anime viewers,
we're gonna find somebody.
But some of my favorites: Naruto, One Piece, Attack on Titan. My favorite show is One Piece. It's about 1,100 episodes right now. I started at the beginning of COVID, and then it kind of sparked my content creation journey. But fast forward to that next summer, in 2021, I started to tap into different gifts. I wanted to do things different. I knew that I'm a football player, but I was like, you know what, I want to do some different things. So I started to become content creator because, like I told you, I love Japanese anime. I love this show called One Piece. It's my favorite anime show. So then I wanted to start talking about it because I didn't know anybody else around my circle who knew anime. So I figured if I make videos about it, I'm gonna find people who will
man,
enjoy
you will be surprised.
So I did so. I recorded my first video, and it took me like a whole week to upload it because I was so scared of what people would think of me. But fast forward right now, I got to meet a lot of great people due to making content, and then I inspire other people to start their own content as well. But I remember in the summer of 2021 was so pivotal in my life because I was about to give up on football and I wanted to quit. And I remember it was a Sunday. So I'm middle children. We so rebellious. I feel like middle children. We so rebellious, and my parents often say that I'm the serious child. If I want to have a conversation, then it's something happened, something serious. So
okay, if we call it to the table, it's something real. We ain't talking about no bull, man.
right. So I remember it was on a whim. I left church one morning, and then we had football workouts on Monday. It was a Sunday, and I stopped going to workouts for the past 3 weeks. I just been working because I'm done with football. And I remember I called my parents Sunday morning. I'm finna come home. I want to have a conversation with y'all. Home is an hour and 30 minutes away. They leave at church like, he better have a conversation. Like, what's going on?
What's going on? So how's your wife? How's your kids? Go this way. Watch out for Jeremiah. Hold on, let me get you. Before we go on. You know that God will anoint.
Mm-hmm.
That's what your name means.
Yeah.
God will anoint.
God will anoint.
God will anoint.
God will anoint.
Go ahead with your story.
Call my parents. I want to have a conversation. I'm about to drive home right now. I want to talk to you guys. And I go home, and they're like, "Oh, what made you just come home that fast? Like, what do you want to tell us?" And I told them I want to quit football. Throughout high school, I've always been like one of the best players on my team. I say that very humbly. Got a scholarship to go to school, and the expectation is so high for me. And now I don't want to play anymore. I want to quit. And they asked me why I want to quit. And football put me in some of my lowest moments, battling with depression, because I felt something that was taken away from me through injuries, through losing myself, through striving me away from God as well.
Oh, that's deep one right there. So, did you feel like the pressure was on because you had to make sure you was trying, either was it to make an impression on the coaches or make sure that you didn't want to let your teammates down, you didn't want to let all these people down, but did you feel like putting all those things in the forefront made you kind of like forget what Jeremiah wanted?
Definitely. It definitely made me lose myself because I made that my life throughout high school and my early parts of college. And then it turned into me wanting to hear that gratification from others. And then I started to live life not for myself.
So now, that's now. We didn't see this depression. We done went to this state where we at our lowest. Who brought you back?
God brought me back. God brought me back. God put it in my heart to talk to my family. I used to think isolation was the best thing for me. I can do anything myself. I don't want to lean on others because they're going to individually let me down. I'd rather it not get done with me versus give the power to somebody else and then them let me down. But God put it in my heart to go talk to my parents about it. And then I remember my father told me, he said, go to God and ask him. If you don't hear anything from God, stay where you are. I did not want to hear that. I did not want to hear that.
What was the result?
What's the result? So I stayed put.
That father's advice, that's some strong advice.
That's some strong advice. I stayed put, and my father said, try to find some clubs around campus and other things. So I reached out to my newspaper advisor, and I asked her, I want to become involved. And that ended up me going to a meeting that led to me meeting Alex Davis, and he he put a spark in my life like nothing else. Shout out to Alex Davis. He's a very humble guy, so he's not gonna take credit for it. But
Alex, we don't have to go. I have you on the show, man. I'm telling you, I'm coming for you,
Yeah.
man.
great guy. And then I started to become a content creator, talk about Japanese anime, and then I started to write poetry, but more so about my life. And my poetry, it's my testimony. Every single poem that I write is a testimony about some at some point in my life. And I remember at that during that summer, I was working on this poem called "Summertime." It's my favorite poem to this day because through summer camp, I remember the first day of summer camp. I remember I was out on the porch 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock in the morning, thinking, God, I don't want to go to practice. God, I don't want to be here no more. God, I want to go home. I don't want to play football. Like God, like I don't want to be here in Finley anymore. God, like why am I still here? Called my dad at 6 o'clock in the morning. I said, Dad, I'm about to go talk to my coach. I'm about to go tell him I'm about to quit. My dad said, what did God tell you? I said, I hear what you're saying, but Dad, he said, what did God tell you? I said, God didn't tell me nothing. So he said, stay where you are. So I went to practice, and I was kind of mad because I was kind of enjoying myself at practice, but that angered me.
You wanted to quit.
That angered me.
But now I'm having fun.
I wanted to quit.
Because God told you to stand still. I got you.
Yeah. But I stayed where I was. Never heard from God to that point. But then I'm in my Bible. I'm in my book. Just because the motivation was
now you was listening. Now you start listening.
I want to hear answers. So I'm searching for those answers.
Seeking you shall find, my brother.
So the season goes. I'm starting to go in church more. And the season doesn't start off well for me. I end up getting my position getting demoted, becoming third string cornerback, and I'm like, I mean, it is what it is. Like I didn't want to play anyway, but so here I am. And then I'm doing my content creation, starting to get more buzz. Then I'm finding my gift of communication, my gift of speaking, and I'm also writing more. I'm finding my gift of poetry, and then everything's going well, and then football comes and I get promoted to be a starter for this game. And I wasn't really motivated for the game, but I'm like, God, I mean, just
go ahead and do what I do.
Yeah, we just do what I do. I had a fantastic game. And then I'm like, okay.
Okay. I thought you was Deion Sanders or somebody out there on the field.
Yeah, I'm thinking, okay.
We're prime time, baby.
And then the following week, we're playing Ohio Dominican in Columbus. And I live about 3 minutes away from the campus. So I'm kind of motivated for this game. I saw all my family, all my friends come to the game. I had one of the best games of my career, ended up getting player of the week for the conference. And I'm like, whoa, God, whoa, hold on now.
Stand still. Did you hear me, son?
It's like, hold on, God. Are you bringing my joy back with the love of
Come on.
And I'm about to jump ahead a little bit. So we ended up winning our conference championship that year. And then I ended up getting the ring for that year. And we ended up winning, going to the playoffs. Unfortunately, we lost in the first round. But I remember after we won the championship, I had a moment on my porch where I walked out there and I sat down and I thought about that time in early August when I was like, God, I don't want to be here anymore. And now here I am as a champion.
So, was that your last game after the championship? Or was that the last time you played on?
No, I had to play for 2 more seasons after that.
See, I don't know what it is, When I played football, community league up to high school. Sometimes I wanted to give up. But having that my last game was the championship. But it was the feeling of having that camaraderie. It was, that I we us. You know what I'm saying? I had this attitude that I didn't want to play. I didn't want to play no football. I'm a businessman. I like, but that was something my father required us to have. I'm so glad and thankful that he, gave us that, or he gave us that avenue. But the championship, once you reach that goal, it's like starting something and stopping. Like you see you can watch everybody get watching an award show. Everybody can put this music out and now they get an award for it. You done worked so hard and you ain't no reward for it yet. You know what I'm saying? When you finally get that reward, it's something that they can't take. It's a feeling of, you know what, through all the ups and downs, changes and turnaround.
Mhm.
This just it's a testament to our determination,
Yeah.
to not giving up,
Yeah.
to staying faithful and obedient.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying?
Mhm.
So now after the 2 years, now come on, go ahead, give me more, feed me, man, feed it to me some positivity, man.
So one of the biggest things that I used to do before God found my joy back in football was I used to shame the sport. You know, I wear the LeBron James jersey. Basketball is my first love. You know, if I could have been a college basketball player instead of a college football player, I would have done so in a heartbeat. I love basketball, but God gave me the talent to play football, and I didn't know why. And then my father used to always remind me. He said, "Use this as a vehicle to get where you want to be." He'd always say, "Use it as a vehicle."
Because and my father would say that too,
Mm.
and I didn't know what it meant. Because like I said, I didn't play no, but every aspect of football
Yeah,
plays a part of my life.
yeah, yeah.
From the discipline to the
Mhm.
team when I'm on the job to now sitting here having that conversation. Let me. This is the person that I might have to go on the front line with.
Mhm. Yeah.
Let me make sure we're fighting together, not fighting. You know, again, those. And even when I tell stories, I use that analogy of football.
Mhm.
You know, this still, I'm getting a little emotional, man. 'Cause those are the things that when I say coaching
Mhm.
or being a leader or a mentor, those are the skills that are needed
Mhm.
to make sure that these young people get to the next level.
Yeah.
These are the stories they need to hear. You know, you have, you know, it's levels to it. And you're how old?
25.
25. I ain't gonna tell you how young I am. You know, I'm a little younger than you, baby. But no, but I'm 41. But to see it, you know, and I sitting and share like this, you know, people say the same thing. I'm getting emotional because, you know, like the elders get emotional because they see it.
Mhm.
You know, and the way we, you know, Jerome and I are trying to, you know, put things together for the center. It's those are the things that we need.
Mhm.
You know, and then it's before we go there.
Yeah,
Man,
go ahead.
before we go there. Now, what do you now going through all that? Now today,
Mhm.
you know, you got your first degree, your undergraduate degree. Now you want to your master's.
Mhm.
You know, what's next for Jeremiah Jackson? What is your next commitment going to be for the community and using those skills,
Yeah.
using those tools in your tool? What are you going to be building, man?
Operating my gift. Right now, I'm looking to be a professor teaching public speaking, and I find it funny how God works. My freshman year in college, I took a principles of speech class, and I failed the class.
Mm.
I took that same class again the next year, and I passed it, but I barely passed it my sophomore year. And I was never the best student. Unfortunately, had a hard time applying myself through high school and my undergraduate or college. So I didn't have necessarily the GPA to be in a master's course and to be in the master's program.
So you thought?
Yes, but God works.
Come on.
For Jeremiah 29:11.
You better speak on it.
Jeremiah
You better
29:11.
speak on it.
So through making that shift, I feel like everything happens for a reason. Through losing my love for football, trying to find different avenues, becoming a content creator, started doing media on campus at University of Findlay, writing poetry. I started to do different things, be the general manager of our radio station, be a sideline reporter, be a podcast host. Doing those things, the media department at University of Findlay said, "Oh, he doesn't have the GPA, but look what he is doing. Look what he is doing for us. So let's invite him into the program." So I got invited to the program without even me knowing.
You see?
I think I found a letter.
Message.
I found a letter when I graduated. It came through the mail, and my mom said, "Oh, you did you see this letter that you got accepted to a master's program? I was not thinking about no master's program.
You want to get in, get up, and get out.
I remember telling my coach, I said, Coach, I want to just trying to find a job now.
The money, baby.
But then I know that God said, hey, two more years. 2 more years. So
He increasing your value.
Increasing my value. So through my master's, I'm starting to see myself get GPAs that I've never accomplished throughout my academic career. And part of the program is teaching public speaking.
Your passion, your love.
Passion. And here I am teaching the same class that I once failed my freshman year. But with a newfound mindset. So that it still gives me chills to this day because it's so powerful.
See, these are the things you can't make this up, folks.
Can't make it up.
You can't make this up.
Yeah.
You know, this is what I mean by authentic. You know, I'm sitting here, I'm trying to hold back because, you know, this is powerful because these are the new leaders. These are the people that some of us are going to be looking at as the people that's going to be representing us, the mayors, you know, maybe even councilmen, maybe even the next businessman. So how do we connect with these, you know, these new leaders? You know, because sometimes we have people that get in front of us and they talk a good game, but where was their story? Where did they come from? What are they doing? Where are they going? You know, so how do you see, or what would be some of the advice that you would give some young people who may be going through a struggle, who may be going through a storm, who may be, you know, who may not have a father to give them that advice, who may not have a mentor to give them that advice? What would be something that you would give them a piece of it? You know, what kind of knowledge or wisdom would you give them to?
My first advice, and funny, my first advice would be get in your word. But then I know that will go over some heads. So my first advice was getting your word because I found this past in the spring. I found, you know, I was like, how did I see just this confidence emerge from myself?
Mm-hmm.
And that's because the word gave me such confidence. Everything that's in the Bible, everything that I've read is giving me the confidence to. So I would say 4 years ago, I'd be so nervous sitting with you, talking in front of these cameras. I'd have been so nervous, but I'm like, where does this confidence I get come from? It comes from God.
It's letting your light, letting the God shine through you.
Yes. So my first advice would be getting your word. My second piece of advice would be it's okay to make mistakes. And I tell, you know, people younger than me all the time is when you're in high school, when you're in college, it's the perfect time to make mistakes. You know, whether it's raising your hand in class. I used to never raise my hand in class, never, because I always, you know, felt I wasn't the best reader, so I did not want to read in front of people because I was afraid of stuttering, or just going in front of class, just like shaking. I always do that real bad when I was like going in front of class. But I would say once I started to be afraid or not be afraid of making those mistakes, just raising my hand on impulse, you know, making those mistakes in front of everybody in class, having people laugh at me. And then like a year later, me raise my hand again, go in front of class, give a speech, and everybody's like, wow. You're like, oh my, you just inspired me what you just did. I'm like, wow. Yeah, I wouldn't have said that a year ago.
Right. You know, because I was that same way. Like, you know, knowing I have all these talents is different, you know. But one thing I've noticed in my hometown is people know you. They know you for one thing, but when you start going deep,
mm-hmm.
or they see this other side, they can accept that they only see that one dimension.
Yeah.
So when you leave your hometown and you get around and you can be yourself,
yeah,
that's when your light really starts to shine.
Yeah.
Do you believe that was something that happened for you when you moved here to Findlay, or?
Definitely. And I'll take it to another step, just exposing yourself to different things. Back in my community, so a lot of people don't even leave the city of Columbus or don't even try to experience different things from what they're accustomed to or what their family's accustomed to. And thankfully, you know, I've always had this child dream since I was a child to, you know, write a book and to travel the world.
Hey, hold on. Talking about traveling the world, this brother's on his way to Japan, huh? You finished the study, and then my corrector said that you get ready to go to Japan again.
So, since I was a kid, I told God I want to travel the world and I want to become an author. And I'm working on the author portion. But when I wanted to quit school, I did not know the opportunities that were available to me in school.
Brother.
So,
hold on. I'm gonna do my Rafiki on you real quick. Hit you over the head with the coconut. You see, I had to do the same thing because I'm like, you know what? I'm making things harder than they really are.
Yes.
When I had everything at my fingertips.
Yep.
Go ahead, because I don't know exactly where you're about to go.
So then I ended up start operating my gift with the content creation, with the poetry, spoken word, and I remember I did a poem. I did my summertime poem, my favorite one at the Martin Luther King Day at the University of Findlay.
Okay.
And that's what I met Christopher Caldwell for the first time.
Oh, that's cool, dude.
And then it's amazing how me operating my gift is God directing me to people who is helping me shape myself, helping me shape my life, helping me become a better person and strive for the things I want to strive for. And meeting Chris, interacting with him, I found that we have a lot of similarities. I enjoy him as a person.
Man,
I'm like, Chris, can you?
Who cannot?
Yes.
Who cannot like Chris? Who cannot love Chris?
And I'm like, we had this similar interest in anime. And I'm like, Chris, can you please come on my podcast? So I ended up bringing him on my podcast. And through the podcast, just hearing him talk, he just blew me away.
The same way you're doing me right now.
and then at some point in the conversation, he starts to pitch the idea of me going to Japan through the University of Findlay. And he pitches the idea of me going to Japan through the University of Findlay. I didn't know these programs existed at the University of Findlay. So eventually, he got me to go, but then I'm like, how am I going to pay for this trip? This is in the spring of 2023. And then I ended up winning this award for my content creation, for my poetry, for the media things that I was doing at my school, the Founders Award at University of Findlay. And what comes with that
is not access.
I believe it was $1,000 at the time. Just $1,000 that came with that award. So I just put that all to the trip to cover my way to it. Because I was worried, like, God, how am I going to pay for this trip? And God said, just keep operating your gift.
Keep on doing you.
Keep operating your gift.
And obedient, doing you. I got you. As long as you give me some praise in between, I got you. You know, and that's the beautiful. And I want to speak on to the point. I was saying this on on my night reflection of people not being able to leave their four wall.
Mm.
You know, it's people who I've traveled a lot, so it's like I try to bring some of that stuff back.
Yeah.
And but when you sit back and you look at, I have had the chance of having a diverse upbringing where I grew up with a single mother, stepfather, so on and so forth. So being able to experience those things and see those things, how can I use those experiences to uplift somebody else? You know what I'm saying? How can you use those experiences to uplift them? Those are the things I think about, and especially with Findlay being a different. I had a fear of going to Findlay University to even talk to them about anything, because I felt, first of all, it's a private college, a Christian college, the case may be. But the beginning phases of being accepted into this community where you're the minority now.
Yeah.
From Cleveland, I'm just 78% black.
Mm.
I go to Shaker Heights. You got the diversity, and you got the. But when you go over to that, to not being the minority and not having a voice or having someone to represent you.
Mm-hmm.
Do you feel like that in some cases here in Philly, or are you involved in that way?
I'll say some cases. I'll say it took me 2 years to get myself acclimated into this community. It took me 2 years to get comfortable in this community. But I would say just my word gives me peace. when the world doesn't give me peace, I just get in my word and it gives me the peace. And I understand, even when you even when you speak to groups of people, even when I do my poetry, even when I'm, teaching my lessons to my students, I understand that I'm not going to reach everybody. But if I can at least reach one person, then that's all that matters. Because it was probably a speaker that I went to, they probably didn't reach anybody but me.
But you. Yeah.
So
And that's how I feel.
yeah.
And sometimes, especially in this community,
Mhm.
it's this to me is the perfect place, where I can say God is showing you how to use your gift.
Yeah.
We have to really show and use your gift out of everything I've taught you in your life.
Mhm.
This is your final exam. This is everything that you learned over those years.
Yeah.
How can you apply those to get through this chess game of life?
Yeah. Yeah.
So, with that being said, with that advice that you're giving, what do you think you're going to be putting into the community to? Oh no, matter of fact, with the library opening itself up to us to do different things.
Mhm.
What would be some things that you think would be able to keep people in, bring the next generation in to learn and grow
Mhm.
and be the best thing they can be?
I would say activities to allow the younger people to feel heard and also allow them to activities that help them recognize their gifts. Because I know one thing for growing up, in my community, we all felt like, sports was the only avenue for us. Fortunately for me, I was able to be, gifted with my athletic ability to get to college. Um, but I found throughout college that, sports is not the only way to be successful in life. But I feel like a lot of younger kids feel like, sports is the only way to be successful. Or even now, with like live streaming and all that, it's changing the game of media, and a lot of kids want to be that, and now think that is the only way to be successful in life. So I'll just say, you know, teaching these kids that there's other ways of being successful outside of sports, outside of, let's say, media. Let's help you, realize the gifts that God gave you. Because many people are born with multiple gifts,
Yes.
man. Because God gave me the gift of my athletic ability, but He also gave me the gift of communication as well and creative writing. I wouldn't have known these things though if I didn't fully tap into my athletic ability gift that God gave me.
And sometimes things happen for a reason. There's a young man I just met the other day. His name is Blake.
Mm-hmm.
He's going to be on the showcast coming up on Juneteenth. But he's doing that same thing. And hopefully he'll be coming through here in a little bit because I wanted y'all to at least connect because the same thing that you had to go through with the poetry, learning the poetry, this is the same thing he's going through. And I think y'all would better, have a conversation. Those are the things that we're trying to do here at the center, connecting the brothers to brothers. This is going to be, the country club, I'll call it.
Yeah.
We can network, like I say, leadership classes, business classes, financial literacy. How can we now build the kingdom together?
Yeah, and I like what you said at that last, because I feel community is one of the most important things. We just have to build that community. Being exposed to different cultures, I see different cultures are more having more togetherness.
Togetherness, yeah.
And sometimes I feel like we live in a very isolated uh, society here in America, where we want to take care of ourselves rather than trying to take care of the ones around us as well. And I feel like building that community is going to be really key, especially for the younger generation. Because
I believe, again, I have to go back to some of the words of Marcus Garvey of now re-educating.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I'm looking at our cousins overseas and seeing that they develop them not just on ABCs and 1 through 3s when they're coming up. We're talking about the social aspect.
Yeah.
Your kids can't play with my kids because they don't live on this side of the street. But now we have a place where we can connect. We got the elders teaching us, And we as the generation now teaching that younger generation.
Yeah.
And how we can now build an economic development or economic system where, like the Jewish. I live in Cleveland Heights, and Cleveland Heights is mainly, everything is pretty much owned by the Jews. They have a synagogue that's 5,000 square feet.
Wow.
And it's only 4 members, but it's paid for. We got a church row on 105 in Cleveland where there's 10 churches and all of them got a mortgage. You know what I'm saying? But they pack every Sunday.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? And we haven't, I mean, you've been here for quite a while. How many black businesses you see around here? You know what I'm saying? All on your fingertips. Yeah. So when do we step up?
Yeah.
And we say, like I said, I'm not looking to make it a movement just about racial equality, but it's looking at those younger generations who may not have the opportunity.
Yeah.
In Shaker Heights, they would give you, we're gonna give you X amount of classes to go to. We're gonna teach you business classes. We're gonna teach you personal finance. Whereas in public high schools, you're gonna learn reading, writing, arithmetic.
Yeah. Yeah.
So how, as it's now coming up, how can we use our talents, our skills to now break that chain?
Yeah. And I'll say one other thing, to not take things for granted, because I remember flashback when I was in high school, I thought I needed to always work out at the best gym. But someone told me use what is around you to get to where you want to be. So then I started working out in my backyard, and I remember my goal was to work out every single day for the summer when I was probably sophomore, junior year high school. And I thought if I want to go to the gym every day, it's going to be impossible for me to work out every single day.
Right.
But if I work out in my backyard, I can work out every day, twice a day, as many times as I want to during the summertime.
So now
and that's how that's why I ended up earning a scholarship.
And you see how things go into play. Like I want to go to Platinum Fitness and all that good stuff, but I see other people who want to work out too, but they're not. They ain't ready for the Platinum Fit. They ain't ready. So that's why I started. Now I started in my house. I'm going on live and boom, boom. But now the center. He said, "Well, this would be a good program to put into the center."
Yeah.
So now it's here. Now it's just about to get the people. I'm about to, I'm gonna say I put it at the wrong time. But now they see the strategy and they see the question, and see the plan of action of how we're gonna go about. Now, how do we connect with our middle school, high school, college to keep those programs running?
Yeah.
But they gotta be, like I said, again, you gotta build it, you gotta make sure it's formatted the same way. So I believe that. And for me, I want to work out, I want to make sure I'm staying in shape. That's when the doctor tells you your cholesterol, and you read about what that leads to. Wait a minute, hold on, I ain't gonna leave here no time soon. I ain't gonna have no heart. So let me work on that. So those small things. You said taking things for granted. Those small things.
Yeah.
Those small things. Some people can, whether it's losing your freedom, whether it's losing a parent, whether it's whatever you lost to make you, start appreciating those things you took for granted, like your freedom. Some people don't take that.
Yeah.
As soon as you lose that freedom, it's hard to get it back.
Right.
So those are the things that we want to work on. Brother Jeremiah, I don't even want to talk to you no more. You got me motivated, man. You want me to go out here and do the work right now. But so like I said, I'm looking forward to seeing, what Jerome and Chris has in store for us, because there's some great things that we've been talking to. I've been sitting on the board meetings. There's some great things that's about to happen, and I don't know what it is. God with a point, not anoint. God with a point.
Yeah.
Is what Jeremiah means.
Yeah, definitely.
And sometimes He'll point you in seasons and reasons, and you never know what they are until He says, just stay faithful and obedient.
Yeah.
And I'm on a Sabbath day talking to a brother with a strong mindset who's 25 years old at that.
Can I say one more
Go
thing?
ahead. You can say as much as you want, brother.
Because I know we talked about a lot of things like dealing with things and then overcoming those things. But what I found out recently that is 25 years old, and the journey is never over.
It's never, man,
And the journey is never like, the roller coasters go up and down. I'm afraid of it. I would not go over. I'm afraid of roller coasters.
You can't go to see the point with us.
I'm sorry.
You have to hold the bag.
They got. You know what? I'll be the person who cheer y'all on when y'all go up and when y'all come down. I'm like, yo, good job. I'm gonna take y'all to the next roller coaster. I can't go by myself.
You know about the frat move. We have to drag them up on the roller coaster.
I believe I might have been 12 years old. I was at Kings Island and I seen the what was it called? The Diamondback. I seen my brother and my dad go up in there. They was going up for like a long time. I said,
Millennium Force.
Never again. Nope, never again.
Man,
just looking at it, but life is a journey and it's never going to be perfect. There was only one perfect person, and that was Jesus. So like your life is never going to be perfect. So there's always going to be up and downs. Always going to be up and downs, but just stay in your word. Stay in your word. That's what I'll say. Life is never perfect.
No. So I'm hearing now. Before we get out of here, man, I'm hearing you was in charge of the game nights around. At one point in time, I was playing dominoes.
Oh yeah.
And, all that good stuff. So hopefully you'll be putting one of those together soon.
Oh yeah, dominoes, spades. I love.
Spades.
Oh, I love. So look, so.
I don't know how happy that just made me. I'm sorry.
So
you got somebody to play spades out here.
So I feel that 100%. So it was coming off of Thanksgiving break. I was back in the football office and I was talking to my coaches and they was like, "Yo, what you do during Thanksgiving? How's your Thanksgiving?" I was like, "Oh, I had a blast. Eating food with the family, playing dominoes, playing spades with the family." And they said, "Playing spades," and they all looked at me. But it's funny because a lot of people tell me I have an old soul.
Man, like, I got one. I'll take mine. Listen, I appreciate mine now. Back then, I'm 20 years old. Somebody's about 50. Shoot, I'll take that today. Shoot, because I like the spade, man. After my, y'all all y'all play is tunk. y'all don't play no spades.
Yeah.
You don't know how to do. I can't get. You can't play life without spades. You ain't black if you ain't playing spades.
Yeah, unfortunately, it's like because I be like, I remember high school in college
lunch,
now. I'm like, yo, y'all trying to play some spades? Hey, you can be my partner. Y'all two partners. They be like, what spades? I'm like, oh my goodness, where y'all from? Like, I'm like, where y'all?
we see now. we better leave them spades alone before. we ain't one of them digits, no.
But I'm telling you, I come from a family. We play dominoes, spades. We play card games. We play Monopoly for like 6 hours, 7 hours.
And that's what sometimes we as brothers need sometimes because it's so easy to get in trouble.
Yeah.
And it's hard to get out of it.
Mm-hmm.
But having I call this ain't no offense, but this is the country club to me.
Mm-hmm.
When I used to go to Canterbury up in Beechwood, they had everything. They had something for the kids. They had game room. They had but now this is a place you can come and learn your history. You can come and have an event with your family. You can come and share in some of the cultural differences we may share and be able to now express yourself in a different way. Man, anything else you want to add, man? Cause I'm sitting back and relax. This is your show today, baby. I'm about to bring you on as a co-host. I'm about to come and learn about some anime or something. No. But this is another episode of the New Legacy Podcast Show. Remember, the mission of the New Legacy Group is to bring together people of all cultures and backgrounds to educate, appreciate, and empower them to create positive and creative content, to increase internal assets and revenues, to build strong networks and develop human resources, and hopefully build a strong and viable living and healthy environment around us. Oh, you got me all stumbled and everything. Shucks, you remind me of what happened with Vanessa last night. Vanessa had me shook, Vanessa, first time I met Vanessa had on pajamas, she had the club with pajamas on. I said, that was kind of different. But yesterday she had this 2-piece.
Oh,
I said, that's nasty. I had to watch that. I had to watch it for a minute. Just make sure she did something to me. And my mouth dry. I was watering, dribbling when I wasn't supposed to be dribbling. But we want to thank you, Jeremiah, for joining us today, man. I appreciate you. Man, I know you got some things to do. I want to hold you up. You know, you're the ladies, man, out here. But I appreciate you, man.
Thank you.
Anytime.
For
Come
sure.
on through.
Definitely.
And he's black, too. Gave me the black handshake. It was one black. I thought he got to be sold by the number one. He just kept missing them.
Oh, he kept listening. Oh, my goodness.
I said, you ain't from. I said, where you from? He said, from Astoria. I said, no wonder. It's all love, y'all. Thank y'all. Until next time. Peace, love, and soul. New day, new life, new legacy.
Oh, snap.